Hey, shalom everyone. Rabbi Yehuda here. I seen something yesterday that may not be such a big deal to most people out there. Matter of fact, it's probably something that you see just about every day. But for some reason, I saw this particular incident in a new light, and it really struck me and hit me hard. Some of you may even think that I'm silly for thinking this, that I'm going a little bit too far in my thinking, looking into things too much. But I really don't think so. I was at a convenience store, picking up a couple movies for me and my family to rent. And I saw this young woman at the checkout. She had on flip-flops. She had on a kind of a raggedy sweatshirt and a pair of pajama bottoms. And she was sucking on a big old Slurpee. And as I looked at her, she turned at a profile angle, and I saw she was pregnant. Her hair was disheveled, just kind of sloppily had it up in a bun. And I thought to myself what Yeshua said. Well, what the Torah says. Love your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19:18, I believe. And Yeshua said these words, that the first of all commandments is, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and the second is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. These are the two greatest commandments, and this sums up the law and the prophets. And I thought to myself, my goodness, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. You're thinking, Rabbi Yehuda, what do you mean? What's the big deal? Why are you so melancholy? What's your problem? It becomes so clear to me. This woman doesn't love herself. How can you love your neighbor as yourself when you don't even know how to love yourself? This woman had no respect or honor for her own appearance. She may have thought, you know what? I'm in these pajama bottoms. I'm just running to the convenience store to get something real quick. Who cares who sees me? I don't care what people think about me. Whatever. That may have been her thinking. And that may be true on the surface, but deeper, down deeper, there are issues. Like if I run outside and take something out to the trash, I may be in grubby sweatpants or whatever. Or maybe even in my pajama bottoms, but I'm on my own property, I'm just running out for a split second. But if I go out into public, even if it's just to run and grab something at the store, unless it's a life or death emergency, I'm going to throw on a pair of pants. I'm going to make myself look presentable and at least somewhat halfway normal. Is it because what I care what other people think about me? No, that has nothing to do with it. It's just I have respect for my fellow man. I'm sure that my fellow man doesn't want to see me in my pajamas. You can dress however you want in your own house. But you know what? When guests come over, most people will, hang on just a minute. They'll be wearing pajamas, but yet they'll still think that they're indecent. And they'll run and grab, a robe or put on a pair of pants or, put something on. So they're not wearing their pajamas. And then, I started thinking of her unborn child. There's nothing wrong with having a sugary snack every once in a while, but I'm talking about one of these mega big Hawken Slurpees. I mean, that poor little infant inside her womb is probably going to have a sugar rush and would probably be kicking her all night long. And I'm thinking to myself, this woman, by the way she dresses out in public, doesn't love herself. So how in the world is she going to love her child? She's going to love her child the same way that she loves herself. And I'm thinking, this poor child, I don't know if this woman does drugs or not, or drinks alcohol or not, while the baby's in utero. I have no idea. But I'm thinking to myself, if this baby's not addicted to crack or coke or marijuana, when it's born, it's definitely going to be addicted to sugar. I'm not trying to pass judgment on the woman. It just hit me so hard because I felt so sorry for the child. And I started thinking about the millions of people out there that are just like this woman, that are in the same position. Love your neighbor as yourself. How can you love your neighbor as yourself when you don't even love yourself? People don't love themselves. Why? Because they don't take the time to get to know themselves. And if they ever do take the time to get to know themselves in the quiet and the silence of it all, they find out they don't like themselves. They find out they don't like what they see. And it's much harder to try to rectify the situation and try to change yourself in a positive way. It's too hard to do that, but it's much easier to bury your head in the sand and forget about it. It's so much easier to look in the mirror, get disgusted about what you see, and immediately look away and forget what you saw, as the book of James says. So these people surround themselves with music, television, entertainment, iPods, iPhones, the internet, video games, shallow forms of entertainment to kill and pass away the time, to fill in those silent voids so that nobody has to deal with themselves. Nobody has to be alone with themselves. Nobody has to get to know who they really are. Nobody has to find themselves anymore. Love your neighbor as yourself. How can you love other people if you don't even love yourself? How can this woman be a proper mother to her child if she does not even love herself? How can she love somebody if she doesn't even love herself? I mean, take God out of the equation. We're supposed to love Him above all. And how can we love God if we don't love ourselves? Let alone, how do we love other people if we don't love ourselves? This really disturbs me. I mean, granted, this thought has crossed my mind before, and it may have been a lingering or passing thought, but I haven't really dwelt on it as I have this time around. There's a generation of young people out there who are sick and tired of the social restraints, sick and tired of the status quo, sick and tired of all the hypocrisy that they've seen in the baby boomer generation that has gone before them. Their Generation X, their Generation Y. They're aimless, purposeless. They don't know where to go or what to do or how to act anymore. They've lost all respect and all hope and all belief in authority. I mean, they want what's real. They want what's genuine. And if we as Torah observant believers aren't going to show that and aren't going to be that, this might be a supplemental to my video, Be Real. If we don't do it, who will? If another young woman, a Torah observant woman, is not going to reach out to this girl that I seen yesterday, who will? We seriously need to pray for this generation, this young generation, because it's the generation that we're passing the torch to. They're the one that's going to take the baton and run with it. Again, my heart, my mind, my thoughts are running against the clock, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. But I hope you guys see where I'm coming from. I hope you can kind of hear my heart today and understand where I'm coming from. So let's be much in prayer for these people, for this generation, and ask God some way to open doors and give us ways that we would know how to help them. I mean, say, God, just don't hint around. Make it so stupidly obvious what you want me to do. I mean, I can pray, but if you can bring like an open door opportunity, let me know it. May it hit me like a ton of bricks and be like not an aha moment, but a duh moment. Do it. Please, Lord, help us. Because we have failed. We have failed this upcoming generation. Because we've been hanging on so long to our own baggage and to our own problems. We've been part of the problem and not part of the solution. Another thing, a real quick thought before I go. When somebody doesn't love themselves, they repel other people and they become isolated. I know of a person right now who, because they have not dealt with themselves, because they have not faced the demons and the skeletons in their own closet, they have become very critical and very self-righteous against other people. And that's just another repercussion of this. Anyways, got to run out of time. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Shalom and Shavua Tov.